All right, folks, we're joined by Northern Kentucky head coach Darrin Horn and Northern Kentucky guard Trevon Faulkner after tonight's loss to Oakland. We'll open it up for questions again. If you have a question for a coach or student athlete, please raise your hand or simply post your question in the chat function, and we'll get to you. Coach, let's start with just an opening statement. Your thoughts about tonight's unfortunate loss to Oakland.
Yeah, I mean, give Greg and his team credit. I thought they played really well. We're really aggressive defensively. We came out early, and I thought we were a little tentative offensively, and I think that carried over to the defensive end some for us. We've been a team that has really made a lot of progress in the last 6 weeks. But a big key to that was that getting multiple contributions from people, having that third and fourth score step up for us. And tonight we didn't have that. Bryson and Trevon scored for us, and then you look down the stat sheet and the third and fourth guy just wasn't there. But again, give Oakland credit. I thought their defense had a lot to do with that.
Bob McDonald, you go right ahead.
Coach Horn, obviously not the result that you were looking for, but the fact that you really got this season going with as many young players as you've had, with many freshmen as you had, obviously speaks volumes. Where do you see this team positioned, and how important, more to the point, how important was it to get this group together, this group of freshmen together along with the upperclassmen as kind of a foundation for your future moving forward?
Yeah, I told the guys in the locker room, don't let tonight's loss, which hurts. We felt like we had a chance to win it, like every team that gets to the semis, and don't let that take away from what they have accomplished this year. This is a group that, first of all, for all of these young people in college basketball, dealing with the COVID stuff has not been easy at all. It's been very demanding in a lot of ways, and I think impacted them in a lot of ways. And, we started out with a brutal non-conference schedule, 3 on the road. It was a schedule I would not have played in a non-COVID year, but we were just trying to get games and started out, the conference season a little rough. But this group just kept growing and kept coming back and working. And Trevon and the older guys were a big part of helping the younger guys get better. And, I think it's, the progress we made out of the stretch prior to tonight, winning 9 out of 11 and getting those guys involved and making big plays for us. I think that that's something we can definitely build on for the future.
Bob, you got a follow-up?
I'm good.
Bob, thank you very much. All right, let's get to Matt Dudek. Matt, go right ahead with your question.
Hi, Darrin. How much did not playing Oakland during the regular season affect you guys as far as getting in today, and what that prep was like for you guys?
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't get to play us either, right? I think that, the biggest thing is, they like us, they play a little bit of a different defense, and we haven't always been great against that this year. I thought we got some great looks, especially in the second half, and just didn't shoot the ball well. But, some of that is probably being taken out of rhythm by then. So, even if you see a team, and we talked to our guys about this before and after the game, you still got to come out and play the game. That's what March is all about. And you got to find a way, whether it's going good or it's pretty or it's ugly, to just keep chipping away and trying to find a way to do things that can win the game. And we just didn't do enough of those things tonight. So, playing against them, maybe we would have seen it and had a little bit better feel. But, they didn't get to play against us either. They just played better tonight.
Matt, you need a follow-up?
I do. Greg earlier, or just before this, mentioned that he didn't think his freshmen played very well. How do you think Warwick played tonight? Do you think the spotlight just got to him a little bit, or was it just kind of one of those nights for him?
Well, it wasn't the spotlight. I can promise you that. I've never been around a young man that likes the big moment more than Marquez does. I just think he didn't play well. Never got in rhythm tonight. But I think you look. It's tournament time. Look down the stat sheet and see who played well. It was the older guys. I thought his freshmen looked fine. He knows his team better than I do. But our freshmen were not great tonight. None of them were near as productive as they have been or are capable of being. And so, old favors or March favors old. And, tonight I think it showed that.
Kyle Craven, go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Coach. On that note, actually, so I did some math early in the season. Coming into this season, you guys had, I believe it was around like 8 D1 seasons total on your team. So, the equivalent of basically a second semester freshman, right? In fact, even tonight, you guys, when Adrian got banged up a little bit there, I looked at the court and I saw 4 freshmen and Trevon, and two of those freshmen were walk-ons. And so it's just, it seems like it's been that kind of a season. I was wondering, is this the youngest team that you've ever coached, or at least is this the of all the teams you've coached, can you remember a team where you've had to rely on youth as much as you've had to rely on it this year?
No, it's definitely the youngest team that in terms of relying on guys and not just individuals, but the volume of, as you mentioned, we've had basically 5 of those guys in some form or fashion in the rotation. 3 of them have been a pretty big part of it, especially here in the last few weeks. And so, again, that's why, at the end of the day, we don't love this loss. I mean, we believe we play for championships in Northern Kentucky, but still really proud of what this team was able to do in terms of the progress we made and how we finished the year prior to tonight's game, because, we are playing a lot of young guys. And I think it goes, overlooked too. It's a lot to ask guys like Trevon and Bryson, who were in roles last year, secondary roles, to step up and be leaders and be guys that produce at a high level every night and help the young guys come along. And both of those guys really grew in that and really produced. And so really proud of what they did as well.
Kyle, you need a follow up?
I do. And I understand if you guys don't want to take this right now, right after a loss, but I will be tracking you down and asking you about it sometime. One thing that people have been talking about this year is, eventually it's felt like we got to have a down year at some point. Right. And coach, this actually precedes you. So I want to bring Trevon in on it a little bit, but it just seems like every year we've had something kind of crazy happen, whether it was a coaching change. Last year we lost a bunch of our upperclassmen, have a completely young team this year. And I think, I think a lot of fans would see this season as a success. And I'm just curious, like, there's obviously something more there than just the players that wear the jersey and the coaches that coach. I'm just curious if there's anything you guys can speak to about the culture that has been built at this school and within this program that's has us in a good position for long-term success. I don't know if that question makes sense, but.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, it's a place where basketball matters, and I think, everything rises and falls with leadership. We've got great leadership, I mean, Kim Butoff is fantastic. His staff is terrific. The president that I work for now, I can't speak to previous ones, is very supportive and understands the value of our program to the university and the student athlete experience. And it's a place where people care. I mean, you go back well before Division I times, and it was a place that played for national championships. And I think it's, because of that, there's a commitment to it and an expectation that this is what you do. I mean, we had a really young team and lost a ton, and I think 70% of our scoring and assists and 50% of our rebounding, but our locker room expected to be back in this position. And so I guess Trevon can touch on that if he wants, but I just think it's a commitment level where it's a place that cares.
Yeah, just going off what Coach said, it is a winning place, people that care, just like a family atmosphere, that they want you to do good, and just they're very supportive.
Trevon, I'll jump in here and ask a question in terms of just, there's a lot of sacrifices that student athletes have to go through every year in a normal year. Clearly, this was not a normal year. What was that process like for you? All the other things that you and your teammates had to do just to be able to have the season that you did. Just kind of your thoughts on that.
It was just a kind of a learning process for our team. We kind of understood that it was going to be hard, and we weren't the only team that was going through that. It was just like I said, just a learning process, and we had to go through the ups and downs to get where we are. And I'm happy that with our season, but I'm just sad for how it ended, and we'll be back next year.
And final thing, Coach, just a quick thought on not asking you for a prediction, but just quick thoughts on the 2 teams left standing, Cleveland State and Oakland, for the league championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a terrific matchup because it's a real contrast, right? It's a contrast in styles and how both of them want to be good. It's a contrast in not that Oakland doesn't have some good older players; they've got some terrific older players, but they play quite a bit of youth too. And if I'm not mistaken, Cleveland State's the oldest team in the league, or right up there, and very physical, wants to pound you, and Oakland does not necessarily play that way. And so I think it's going to be a really, really good basketball game. And I think it'll showcase our league well. You've got, a bright young coach in Dennis Gates, who's done a phenomenal job, and kind of the czar of the league, and Campy, who's, you look where he's ranked all time. I think people will be surprised at where he is. He's kind of above a lot of big names that people respect. Greg's a terrific coach, been doing it a long time. And so I think they'll represent the league well, and it'll be a really good game.
As we're about to hit midnight, that's a good time to close up shop for the day. Fellas, congratulations on completing your season, and best of luck next year.
Thank you.